What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to show you how to trade. It can be really confusing if you've never traded before. We've gone from 5 million value down here, 5.5 million, and now we're sitting at 30.7 million. So shout out to Middlemen, by the way. They have a whole thing explaining how to trade on Roblox, and I'm going to read this off to you guys. There's a lot to go over, so grab some popcorn, whatever the heck you want to do, or if you just want to watch through and learn some more, feel free. But yeah, so it goes over everything. There's RAP, which is recent average price, value, demand. Like, this is the whole list. I'm going to put the link in the description right at the top, so if you guys want to check it out yourself, feel free. But this goes over pretty much every single thing that has to do with trading, and it's a lot. If you're new to Roblox, first off, you do have to have premium, obviously, to trade. But yeah, aside from that, pretty self-explanatory in this article, but it is a lot. So I'm going to read it to you guys just to make it easier. Some people don't like reading, and yeah, so here we go. Well, first off, we have RAP. The recent average price of an item is the average what an item sells for in Robux. This is visible on the price chart section of any limited item. When an item first goes limited, the RAP, which you guys see right there, the average price, which is recent average price, is 0. Once this new limited sells, the RAP is equal to the first sale. After this, the RAP is adjusted at a formula of RAP plus, sale RAP. Yeah, so you guys understand that if it sells high, the RAP goes up. If it sells lower, the RAP drops. So pretty self-explanatory, I feel like, and shouldn't be a problem for you to understand. Value can be a little harder to understand, but it's pretty simple once you get the basics of it. So the value of an item is based on how much an item is worth in terms of trading. A singular item's value can be very volatile and is impacted by many factors. Despite this, values are much more reliable for determining what limited items get traded typically compared to RAP. Yeah, so that's pretty self-explanatory. They usually, almost all items go for value and not RAP unless they're super small, and then normally they'll just go for RAP, but you guys will get that when you start trading. Demand refers to the desirability of an item. For example, the Valkyrie helm has much more demand compared to a rare item such as the Memento Mori. I've always hated that hat, by the way. An item with higher demand is typically seen as more desirable to trade for since they are likely and easier to trade. That, yeah, if they have more demand, more people are going to want them. They're going to be much easier to trade versus something like Memento Mori, which it has to be a desired taste, and not many people want to offer for it. Upgrading is when a user trades multiple smaller items for a lesser number of larger ones. For example, trading one of your classic Roblox Fedora and Valkyrie helmet for the Yum face would be an upgrade since you're giving 2 smaller items for one larger one. Trading 3 or 4 items for a larger one would also be considered upgrading. Downgrading, it's pretty much that, just reverse. Downgrading is simply the inverse of upgrading, in which you trade a larger item for multiple smaller ones. For example, if you were trading your Yum face for classic Fedora and Valk, then you would be considered downgrading. Yeah, so pretty simple there. A common misconception for upgrading downgrading is that they refer to gaining or losing value in a trade, but this is not true. Not always. Normally, though, if you are upgrading, you will have to overpay. But you'll see in value requests here, which we'll show you in a minute, that you find a range that's pretty normal for the overpay. Lowball, well, first we'll go with overpay, but I just kind of explained it. But an OP refers to giving more for an item than its listed value. For example, giving 195,000 value for an item listed at 190 would be considered a 5,000 OP. Lowball is just the reverse of that. An item's valued at 190k, you give 185k, you get technically a lowball. But you have to be careful. If things are starting to lowball, then they may drop in price. So be aware, take caution. Sometimes though, you can just get a good deal. Someone's desperate or they don't know how to trade properly, and you can get a very good deal with a low ball. Rares. Rollemans classifies a rare limited as an item with 100 or less copies left in existence. This number includes copies that are hidden in private inventories as well. So there you see the Dominus Potassium. The Tick Stom has 14 premium, 18 available, so it would be considered a rare. A semi-rare is limited with the copy, but with a low copy total, but does not reach the 100 copy threshold that Rolleman holds to be considered an actual rare. There is no set number of copies that marks a cutoff for what is to be considered a semi-rare, but it is generally accepted that any item with less than 200 to 250 copies is called a semi-rare. LPP. An LPP is when someone purposely sells an item for extremely low in the catalog, typically 1 Robux. You guys have seen my videos on that probably. If not, go check it out. Selling an item for 1 Robux. We were LPPing items and then seeing if bots or regular people would buy them. Not a spoiler, but mostly bots. Accept, counter, decline, A/C/D. Frequently you see these terms listed together. When someone sends you a trade, guys, they'll say A, C, or D. Typically A/C because they want the trade either accepted or countered, and that's pretty basic. Win-loss refers to winning or losing a trade. This is commonly used when someone is gauging whether or not they completed trades a win for themselves. You'll see this a lot in the Rolleman server. In the trading lounge, they'll put like W/L, and yeah, people are always spamming L's on it because, well, most trades low key that they post in their L's. No offense, guys. A proof is when a user posts an inbound or completed trade. Proofs are what dictate the value and are extremely useful to refer to when unsure of what an item goes for. Exactly. So this is in value requests on the Middlemen server. If you guys want to be an actual trader, you need to join the Middlemen server. That's where you get all your information for items, what they're going for. You can even ask for help if you don't know what an item's going for and there hasn't been really any recent value requests. Usually someone will like chirp in and say, yeah, it's going for around this and this, and you can get a few opinions of people and what they're thinking. So this is a channel in Middlemen's Discord server where proofs are posted. All value changes are made in correlation to the proofs posted in the VR channel, and this is where the community can post their proofs in order to contribute to future changes. Very simple. You just go in, get value requests. You guys will figure it out if you know how to work Discord, which I'm sure all of you do. So very, very simple. And yeah, so you can see right there that the black iron horns going for 3.6k OP. So raise the bet. Very simple. Proof-based items are only valued based on proofs. These items are generally not influenced by their wrap. However, more demanded items may naturally have correlation between wrap and how they're performing in trades. Wrap-based items are those that are valued and based on their wrap. This feature is currently discontinued, which means there are no items currently valued in relation to their wrap. An old version, you would see if it had a 4,000 wrap, it was labeled a 5,000 value, yada yada yada. But yeah, they discontinued it maybe like last year sometime. I don't really know the exact date. Under wrap referred to a wrap-based item that had a wrap lower than the requirement for its current value. For example, if it was at 10,000 value but only had a wrap of 6,800, it would be considered under wrap. Yeah, over wrap is pretty much just the reverse of under wrap. Trend represents how a limited item is performing at any given time. An item's trend is visible on its Middlemen's page and can be referenced as a reliable source on how the item's been performing and likely to do in the near future. So use that with caution. But because sometimes if an item is lowering or unstable, you can grab it for a really good deal and then flip it, but you have to be very careful when you're doing that because you could get stuck with it and it drops a lot. So just be careful with that. Unstable, if an item is unstable, yeah, it can go kind of crazy. So these are the two different scenarios that they posted. A newly released limited is behaving in an extremely volatile way, whether raising or dropping. A limited has recently had a decent sized hoard release, which puts it at risk for volatility. The gist of this trend is to show when items are behaving in unpredictable ways, warranting a trend that shows they are not currently stable. Stable items, well, they're stable, and yeah, it means that they're probably doing decent. You can definitely trade for it, and it's not too bad. Lowering trend is applied to items that have been either dropping or have just dropped a considerable amount. Generally, items with this tag are performing quite poorly. That is true. And if you have it, some people will panic trade away, some won't. I don't know. It really just depends on the item, to be honest. If you think it can bounce back, but yeah, a lot of people do tend to trade it off when it's lowering. Raising, it means that it's raising, and it's probably doing really well. And it's going to be hard to get. People are going to want to have you overpay for it even more. Now, the next one is the hype tag. They're performing extremely well, and they're either pulling extreme OPs or constantly raising at a pace that is much quicker than average. This tag is currently discontinued. It is no longer applied to items at this time. But when an item would get hyped, I'd have an item that was hyped, and people would send way higher overpays, OPs as it is, and you could get good deals. Fluctuating. It's been discontinued. That doesn't matter anymore. So projected, this one is be very careful if you're a new trader with projecteds. Okay, projected tag is given to items that have seen an artificial increase in wrap recently. So if you see this, be careful. Projecting, I'll just explain without even reading all this. This thing is, let's say this thing is worth 10,000 Robux. Someone buys it for like this 916,000. It raises the wrap significantly to 125,000 or whatever. And then people think that this is worth 125,000. They'll try to trade this wrap item for 125,000 when it was typically worth, I don't know what this is worth, we're just giving it a value of 10,000. And so it used to be worth 10,000. Now it looks like it's worth 125,000. They try to send it for your item, which is worth 50,000. They get a 40,000 win. You lose everything. So be very careful of projected items. Now, sharking, okay? Sharking is when someone this happens a lot with trading, okay? Sharking is when someone lies about the information to influence you to accept their trade. This might be faking proofs, having their friends tell you to accept, giving an inaccurate value range that an item goes for, among others. You should always be careful of the legitimacy of the statements your trade partner is making, and that's why you need to be in the server. You can ask people, and if they don't hate you or they're not top tier trolls, which most of them are, that's why you always look in value requests, okay? Always look in value requests at the last like 5-10 trades. See what they're going for. Make sure they're recent. so you don't get sharked like that. Scamming, do not get scammed, bro. Don't do multi-trade deals. Don't do it. I don't care how good it sounds. Never do it, bro. Never do it. The only way I do it is if I go first. Everyone trusts me, so they always go first with me. But it was not always that way. I got scammed before, way back in the day, like 2014 probably. I got scammed, and bro, never went first again. Never. Always made people go first. They never had a problem with it, since the reputation is so good. But guys, don't get scammed. Don't get scammed. Don't click on links on Discord. Like, just be cautious, okay? Don't give anyone your password to trade for you. Just don't, okay? Just don't. A middleman, aka MM. It is referring to looking for a middleman, third-party user to oversee or hold items in a trade. For example, if you're doing a mass trade, which is more than the 4 item slots you can have. Is it 4 still? I think it is 4. I was like thinking it's 5 for some reason. But yeah, more than 4 items, they will need to complete the deal in multiple trades, which I was saying don't do multi-trade deals. I personally wouldn't even trust middlemen. That's just me though. The middleman could just take your money and run and just sell all his items on the black market, your items on the black market, make a couple of grand, and then you're left with nothing. You have nothing. Your Roblox trading career is practically done. So exactly, this says still high chance that the middleman could scam the users. Yeah, exactly. So in my opinion, I wouldn't even bother. Okay, now this is important as well. User asset IDs, UAIDs. They are specific to individual copies of limiteds. For example, serial number 37 Super Happy Face will always have the same set of UAIDs that can be referenced. Every time that the serial is traded or the user private/publicizes their inventory, a new data point will be created. UAIDs can be referenced to see the previous owners of an item. Okay, so look here. Here is the UAID of my red Sparkle Time Fedora. Problem owned it before me, and before that, Talking Potato. This is people either privating their inventory or whatnot, but yeah, so that's pretty simple. It just shows where it's been, and you want to check and click on them and check their graph, which is right here, and make sure that's not going up and down like this, because you could easily fall for an item that has been hacked items, scammed items, so you want to be careful of that. And we'll get into that right now. Clean versus poison limiteds. Poison refers to an item being stolen or otherwise unsafe to trade for due to the risk of moderation on your account. The easiest way to tell if an item is poison is to check the account you're trading with. Seems like a legitimate user and reference the UAID, just as I was explaining. It's pretty simple. Clean refers to limiteds that are not poison and are safe to trade for. Normally, if someone asks if their item is clean or poison, they're just asking if the item is considered safe to trade. Roblox will ban you sometimes even if you get a small item that's poison. Normally it is bigger, but I still wouldn't take the risk if I were you guys. Plugging is when a user intentionally trades for stolen items. This is usually due to stolen items being obtainable for cheaper prices or low balls, as we went over before, compared to what a normal copy would be traded for. Although this may sound like a sweet deal, the reward doesn't come without risk. Roblox frequently moderates or terminates users who trade for stolen items, and it's best to keep your account safe and avoid that. And sometimes you'll trade for it, you'll give 2 million value, let's say, like you get a crazy deal on like Black Sparkle Time Fedora or something like that, because I'm pretty sure that goes like really high now, and you get a crazy low ball for it, and you trade for it, your account doesn't get terminated, but they just take away the Black Sparkle Time Fedora, and you're left with a negative 2 million value now. That's a best case scenario. Worst case is they terminate your account. Well, actually, best case is you get to keep the items, but I wouldn't recommend it because sometimes they do go kind of crazy and delete people. Now this is for copies. This is I feel like this is so basic, I don't need to do over it. Copies are how many copies are on Roblox. Premium is how many premium users have the item. So deleted / hidden, it pretty much just represents the number of copies that are either owned by users who had private inventories or have been terminated. Roblox does not offer a way to distinguish between a deleted copy or one that is privated. So yeah, there we go. Circulation refers to the number of active copies that a limited has in the economy. For example, an item with 50 premium owners likely has 20 to 30 of these considered actively in circulation. Rollman considers any item serial traded in the last 6 months to be actively in circulation, but often even the longer tenured owners eventually trade theirs away. Circulation is always change and is more of a guessing game than a precise. Exactly. Let's make a deal. This one just kind of, this is what this was, bro. I was on Let's Make a Deal all the time. I had like 40,000 posts on here. It was revolved around aspects of trading, items, etc. As you can see here, I was always on here doing the forums, with items and trading and things of that nature. So that's what LMAD was, but RIP, it's gone. I miss it. Hoarding. An item refers to users purposely amassing multiple copies. So if you guys didn't know, I used to hoard Playful Vampire. Hoards can work great, or they can totally crumble. I picked up a bunch of playful vampires for 30 to 35k, and I traded them almost all off between 80 and 75k. So I made like great profit there. We had like 97 of them, so you can do the math. We made a lot of value, but it is risky. Yeah, and it, like I said, it can influence how the item performs, and once you start trading away those hoards, the item typically drops because more are getting into circulation. Sales. Okay, sales. We just mostly get limited releases now. During certain times of the year, namely holidays like Memorial Day or Christmas, Roblox may host sales, which some of the following would occur. Certain off-sale items are put on sale for limited time, only happen a few times since they came back. Prices for certain regular items are reduced. New items are created and or collectible. Not generally now. Certain regular catalog items are limited. These are typically the days that they'll have sales right there. In modern day, sales are very infrequent and generally do not happen. However, there are occasions when Roblox decided to host a smaller version, such as Memorial Day 2022. Deals. You can go to rollemans.com/deals right here, and you can find deals on specific items that are good deals. But you want to be careful because something could have a very high wrap, as we discussed before, the projected, and they put it up for what seems to be a good deal. If you just buy it super quick, you don't know what you're doing, you just lost Robux. So just be cautious. A snag refers to an item for a reasonable deal. Usually this deal walks the line of being almost not worth buying, but cheap enough to where you may still be able to get some profit. Snipe is where an item is 40 to 50% off. So conclusion, as you can see, there are many complex terms and acronyms that are commonly used in everyday trading. Many of these terms are accepted as normal literature for experienced traders, which may leave newcomers out of the loop. Lucky for you, now you can use the list to define any you are unfamiliar with. So that pretty much goes over it. I'm going to put the link in the description as well, so you guys can see what exactly everything. If you want to read it for yourself, feel free. But like, here's the example of an overpay that I did here. So it looks like I won, right? Oh, I gave all this? No, because actually if you go through all these trades, I gave all these items for Rainbow Shaggy. I gave 10.3 million for Rainbow Shaggy and upgrade. So obviously I overpaid technically because this value is 6,500,000. I overpaid technically a ton, but I really didn't, because a lot of these items did drop. I don't know what the exact overpay is now. Looks like Clockwork Shades rose though. But yeah, so technically I overpaid a lot, but this literally just went for 13.5 million with 6 million Robux before taxes. So kind of the Robux kind of throws it off a little bit. It's probably somewhere like 11 something million, but I still definitely profited. Rainbow Shaggy is great. And yeah, so I hope this helped you guys. This is a very long video, but it was very informative. So if this did help, man, drop a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, good luck trading. May you all profit, and I'll see you guys next video. Love you guys. Peace.